A new CBS News New York Times poll suggests that Americans are divided over whether Apple should unlock the encrypted iPhone of one of the suspects in the San Bernardino terrorist attack. Now, 50% say Apple should unlock the phone, though nearly as many, 45%, think it should remain sealed. The FBI and Apple are due back in court in Riverside, California on Tuesday. And CBS News Justice reporter Paula Reid is following this case. Good morning to you, Paula.
Good morning.
Are you surprised to see that the country is pretty much split on this issue here?
It's not surprising that Americans are divided, particularly when you think of the interest at stake here, potentially getting evidence in the deadliest terror attack on U.S. soil since 9/11, or potentially compromising the security of our iPhones. What was surprising to me in this poll, however, is that the FBI and the Department of Justice still have the slight edge in public opinion. Now, that's especially surprising because, as our poll shows, Apple is a very beloved company. People view it very favorably, and they've also had the means and the will to wage a pretty significant PR war in this case.
You mentioned that PR war. I was fascinated by the Time article. Tim Cook is on the cover of Time magazine saying, listen, we cooperated, we did everything they asked, we learned about the court order initially through the press. Why do you think it is, who's getting their message out better at this point?
Well, as you mentioned, the cover of Time magazine, Apple has that. I think that Apple has the money, the will, the means to get their message out more effectively, to be a little more loud in this argument. The Department of Justice is also restricted in terms of what they can talk about in a case that is currently being litigated. So that's why it's so surprising in this poll that the FBI and the Department of Justice, still most people side with them in this case.
And you've spoken with sources in both camps. Any room for a compromise at some point?
It does not appear that there is any chance of compromise. This case is likely going all the way to the Supreme Court. Because when I talk to sources on both sides, even if they say we are willing to compromise, hey, what about this, or we could do that, I think to myself, wow, that is just not really going to be acceptable to the other side. So even what they put forth as compromise, it's not realistically going to resolve this case.
Let's talk about what President Obama said during his keynote speech at South by Southwest. He said it was a comment about technology, so it wasn't directly addressing this case, but he said technology can empower individuals to do things they could have never dreamed of before, but can also empower folks who are very dangerous to spread dangerous messages. Who is he referencing?
Well, he's specifically speaking to terrorist groups because that's the concern, going dark. And of all the places to make this argument and come out in favor of law enforcement, South by Southwest is not going to be a very receptive audience. Right. So I know that FBI, the Department of Justice, they were pleased that he came out, sort of stuck his neck out there for them in this case. But they also wish that he had done that earlier, over the past year and a half, 2 years, as the head of the FBI and others have been out there trying to get legislation, trying to start a national conversation on this issue.
I think that Time magazine will start that national conversation as well. Paula Reid, thank you so much.
Thank you.